We don't exactly know how people actually develop psychiatric problems, whether it's depression or schizophrenia or anxiety disorders or bipolar disorders. We know that there's a genetic component. That means that if somebody in your close family, your parents, your grandparents, brothers and sisters have a similar disorder, you have a better chance of developing that disorder than if they don't. But even so, it's not for certain that you'll get the disorder. There are studies, for example, in schizophrenia and bipolar disorder and depression, where they looked at identical twins. So if it's all genetic, you'd figure both twins should have the disorder. But in most conditions, it's no more than about 60%, which means that there's probably something other than genetics that are involved. We know there are chemical changes in the brain, but why those occur, we don't know. And we also know that life stress, trauma, abuse, neglect, often predispose people to develop psychiatric disorders. But the big question still is, why do some people and other people don't? And could we predict who's likely to get a psychiatric disorder? And the answer right now in 2014 is we just don't know. Well, it depends on the condition, and it depends on the person. I'll give you some general answers, though. Schizophrenia generally has its onset in the teenage years, late teens to early 30s. It's unusual for someone to have the beginnings of a schizophrenic break in their 50s, for example, or 60s. Bipolar disorder frequently has its onset of either depression or being high that we call hypomania or mania, generally in late teens, early adulthood, but it can come on at later years as well. Depression can come on early or late. It can come on even in childhood, in adolescence, and early adulthood, but depression can also show up in the 50s or 60s or even later. So it kind of depends on the illness. And what I've told you is in general, and there are always exceptions to those kinds of figures as well.